I'm gonna be sharing with you my 2025 houseplant wish list. It's gonna be a fun one. We're gonna look at some pretty plants. So let's get started. Hello everyone and welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Matt, and like I mentioned in the intro, today we're talking all about 2025 wish list houseplants. In general, I don't tend to make wish lists for my plant purchases just because I like it to be a very organic process. I like to, shop around, see what's available. I don't really follow trends, or I'm not like on the social medias looking at what plants are trendy or what plants are currently on the market. So usually the way I find out about new plants is through watching YouTube content creators. I love watching Planty YouTube. It's one of my favorite activities ever. Just by seeing what other people are adding to their collection, I also can kind of get a sense of if I would like that plant in my collection or not. I also find out about new cool plants through obviously looking at the different online plant stores. I think that's a really great way to just see what's on the market, see what's available. I always check multiple stores before actually making a purchase, because you never know where you're gonna maybe find a sale or like a better deal, a cheaper price, maybe a bigger plant for a better price, etc. Before making any plant purchase, I will definitely first sit and think about it. I rarely buy something impulsively just by seeing it. I oftentimes will see a plant and then I will do my research. I will try to find some information online, and I highly suggest Reddit. I know Reddit can be a hit or miss, but I find there are a lot of great people on there just sharing their experience, and it's a lot more authentic than, for example, just Googling, I don't know, philodendron care, because you're just gonna get the regular care guides that don't really tell you much about the specific plant you want. And if you have somebody who's actually sharing their experience of growing a certain plant, it just gives you a much better picture of what the plant would be like in your care. I just want to mention that plant shopping can definitely be an addictive hobby. I want you to think about the purchases before you purchase them. Think about if you have the time, the space, the motivation to keep up with the plant, because yes, it's great getting new plants. It's one of the best feelings ever, unboxing a new plant. You also have to remember that you can't just put the plant on a shelf and forget it. You have to actually take care of it. So please be mindful and think about your purchasing actions. Without further ado, we're gonna get into my wish list. I'm gonna be using my phone a lot because I have some notes on my phone, and also because I'm actually gonna be looking at pictures of these plants, because clearly I don't have them in person. I haven't seen any of these plants actually in person, so it's hard to, kind of recall from memory what they look like, because my memory is crap. I have 5 plants to share with you, and they're all from different genuses. I didn't want to repeat myself or have multiple plants from the same genuses. So on this list, I have an Alocasia, a Monstera, a Hoya, an Anthurium, and a Philodendron. And these are kind of my top 5 plants in each category. So let's get started. And we're starting off with an Alocasia. I actually really like Alocasias. I know they get the rap for being very difficult and demanding plants, and yes, they can be a little bit of a diva. Personally, I like the challenge. I like how they grow, and there are so many varieties. And speaking of varieties, lately there have been a lot of variegated Alocasias going around, and their prices are insanity. It is completely bonkers, because these variegated Alocasias can go up to a couple $100, which is insane. One of these plants is on my wish list, and it is the variegated Alocasia dragon scale. I actually have a regular dragon scale, and it is one of my favorite plants, and I'm just actually gonna get it real quickly. This here is my regular Alocasia dragon scale, and this plant is so special to me. This was kind of like one of the first, I would say, rare plants that I got a couple of years ago. It's been with me all this time. It hasn't really been fussy. It's just a great grower. Its leaf shape, the leaf texture, the leaf color. I mean, look at this color. Look at this freaking color. It is absolutely beautiful. I really love this plant, and I have a very big emotional attachment to it. If I was able to have a variegated variety of this plant, I would be so ridiculously happy because the variegated varieties are just beautiful. And also I'm talking about the albo. I think there's also an Aurea perhaps, but I want like the albo, the white one. I'm not really a big fan of yellow variegation. I definitely prefer white variegation. And just looking at these pictures online, they are absolutely freaking stunning with the sectoral variegation, the marbling. It's literal chef's kiss. I have never seen one in person, but I bet they look beautiful. They are so creamy, so dreamy. I would really, really love to add one to my collection. They're still going for quite a bit. I saw them on one online store that I like to shop at, and they were around 150 for like a small baby, which is still a little bit too much for me. If it was 50 bucks, I would go for it. Like I said, I adore the regular dragon scale, and I would love to have the variegated one. It is just so beautiful. I do assume that these would be a little bit more complicated than the regular dragon scale, but I don't know. I haven't like done any research in the care or seen how people are growing theirs, but yeah, it's just a plant that I would seriously love to own. Maybe one day I will. Moving on, we are going into philodendron land. Now, I have a very complicated relationship with philodendron. Okay, let me get myself situated because I'm gonna get heated in a moment. I love philodendrons, but I also hate them because they are so freaking dramatic. I'm getting heated. Philodendron is the genus that I feel like I have the most issues with. I cannot wrap my head around why they're so difficult. First of all, their root system is pathetic. In most cases, it is very spindly, it's thin, it loves to rot, it loves to dry out. I do not like philodendron roots on the whole. Now, there are some philodendrons that obviously have very nice root systems, but for example, the Varicosum roots are literally just the teeniest little things. They are absolutely disgusting, and I feel like a lot of philodendrons just have very, very sensitive root systems. And then there is the other bigger issue, which is pests. Oh my god, I literally like I love philodendrons. Okay, don't get me wrong, I freaking love them. They're beautiful. There's so many varieties out there, but they are a thrip magnet. I don't think I have a single philodendron in my collection that has not had or has currently thrips. And if they don't have thrips, then they have spider mites. If they don't have spider mites, I would assume they would have something third, probably like mealybugs or something. But thankfully, knock on wood, I'm not struggling with mealybugs. But it's either thrips or spider mites on every single one of my freaking philodendrons. And to top it all off, they love to get stuck in their freaking sheet when unfurling, and then they do the Cinderella thing, and it's just like, dear lord, and then the leaves rip, and then they look ugly, and then you have to wait for the next one, and it's just like, can we catch a break? Oh yeah, EFN, oh my god, they have so much freaking extra floral nectaries that will burn through the leaves. Alocasias get a bad rap for being dramatic, but honestly, philodendrons, drama queens, they take the cake. That being said, I really love them, and I love their growth pattern. I love how huge they can get. Their growth is extremely rewarding, and there are so many beautiful varieties. And one of these plants that I really want to add to my collection is the Heterocraspedon. Oh my god. I really love long, strapping, girthy plants, and the Heterocraspedon just, oh my god, it is divine. And the ribbing, and it's like, it is absolutely beautiful. I am sure it's a bitch to grow. Again, I haven't done a lot of research, but just by looking at it, I can tell that this thing would probably get stuck in its sheath, that it would probably rip. It looks like a thrip magnet, but it just looks so beautiful. I love the growth pattern of it. I love how long it can get, and it's just I really want this plant. I do feel like I would struggle with it, and it would probably not be looking as good as it does on the pictures online. These aren't like horribly expensive. I saw a pretty mature specimen for around 70 euros, which was still a little bit too much for me. Like if I could find like maybe a medium specimen or even a baby for like 20, 30, maybe 40, I would go for it, but I don't know. As of right now, I want it, but I'm also like scared because it is a philodendron. And I know so many people are into the caramel marble, I think it's called, philodendron right now, and so many people want that plant. It's like kind of the it plant at the moment, but personally I am not interested. I mean, don't get me wrong, the variegation is absolutely stunning, and if I had like a very stunning variegated specimen, or if I found a very stunning variegated specimen, I would get it. However, the problem is its growth pattern. It's very similar to a ring of fire. I actually have a ring of fire. I don't know if you'll be able to see it in the frame, but it just takes up so much freaking space. It is huge. Plus, they still are super expensive, but I'm sure they will drop in price just like the Ring of Fire has. I mean, these used to be pretty pricey, and now you can literally pick one up at the big box store for like, what, 10 bucks? Moving right along, we have a Monstera, which is also a genus that loves to get thrips, but I don't find them to be as much of a nuisance as I do with philodendrons, because I feel like on philodendrons it's really hard to get rid of thrips, and for some reason on my monsteras I find it easier, and also they do a little bit less damage to my monsteras than they do to my philodendrons, because on the whole monsteras have a little bit more of a sturdy, thicker, leatherier leaf, whilst a lot of philodendrons, you know, they have the really dainty, thin, often velvety leaves. But I absolutely love monsteras. They are one of my favorite genuses. I mean, I think we all love monsteras, and we all love variegated monsteras. And I have two variegated monsteras. I have the albo and I have the Tycon. The Tycon was a gift from a friend, and that is my most cherished plant ever. Like if my house was burning down and I had to save one plant, it would be my Tycon. This is one of those plants that I want to have till I'm like old and gray and wrinkly, and I just want to look at it and be reminded of like such a great, beautiful friendship and such a great, beautiful person. That plant holds so much sentimental value for me. But anyway, I want to add another one to that variegated family, which is of course the Monstera Mint. I think they look so beautiful, and I would love to own one. Now there are a lot of like new Monstera hybrids or varieties or whatever they're called, and some of them look kind of sickly and not good, but I think the Monstera Mint is just so beautiful because it's so minty. It can be so beautiful, especially if you have like a half moon specimen, which has like the minty side and then the very darker green side. It's absolutely beautiful. I think Plants by Melissa has one that is out of this world. Oh, this plant is gorgeous. Also, Kaylee Allen, she has one that is, oh my god, whenever I see it in her background in her kitchen, or I think that's her kitchen, I wish I had you. I wish I had. And since it is a Monstera, I'm pretty sure it would be easy care. They're still so expensive. It's literally for a little baby, 150 bucks. Again, still way out of my price range. I would pay for the Monstera Mint $100, but if it was like a larger specimen already where I could see, you know, what the leaves would look like. Because when they're small, you can't really know what they will look like once they mature. They could completely lose their variegation. They could turn completely variegated and just cause a lot of trouble. I actually recently crossed off another Monstera that was on my wish list, which is of course the Burley Marks Flame, and that one has significantly dropped in price. During Black Friday there was a great deal. It was on 30% off, so I got a little baby for like, what, I believe like 30 euros, which is really not a bad price in my opinion. That one is gonna be fun to grow out in 2025, but I did hear that they are very, very slow growers. However, now pretty much the only Monstera that I have on my wish list is the Mint. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that the price drops further in 2025 and I can actually get my little phalanges on one. That will be extremely lovely. Moving into the Hoya realm. Now, if you've been on my channel, you have seen that I have become Hoya obsessed as of lately. I absolutely love them. They're so cute, they're so ditty, so small, you can just put them anywhere. On the whole, I don't have a lot of troubles with Hoyas. And one Hoya that is still on my wish list and that I really want is the Hoya Clemensiorum. It is the crusty dusty. It is the freaking dumpster fire. It is beautiful. I really want to add a Clemensiorum. Now, I would either, if I could choose, I would prefer either the Borneo variety or the dark form. The dark form is literally, whoo, like it is beautiful. I would love to have a Clemensiorum, but they are still pretty freaking pricey. Hoyas on the whole are extremely expensive. I suppose it's because they're just very slow growing. And, you know, they are easy to propagate, but they take a whole lot of time to actually propagate. The Clemensiorum, you can find one for like, I don't know, 50, 60, maybe even like 70, 80 for like a cutting or so. I would love if I could find like a full plant for that price. Like if I could find like a full plant with maybe like 4, 5, 6 leaves for like around $50, I would be extremely happy. But I've only seen cuttings for like 60 to $70, and honestly, that is just a little bit too much for just cutting. And on the whole, I really have no trouble rooting Hoya, and I'm pretty good, knock on wood again, I'm pretty good at rooting Hoyas. I honestly don't want to go through the trouble. I just want to have a nice established Clemensiorum. It's on my wish list. They can get huge and beautiful. They have gorgeous splashing, gorgeous venation, and yeah, it's just oh, I have definitely a lot more Hoyas on my wish list. Hoya is a genus that I really want to expand upon in my further plant household collecting journey, but yeah, they are pretty expensive. So yeah, I could definitely add more to my wish list, but as of right now, I would say that the Clemensiorum is one that is kind of my #1 wish list. But there is also the Wilbur Graves Silver. Oh, that one is delectable. But yeah, let's say the Clemensiorum for now, and fingers crossed that I can maybe get one next year. And finally, we are moving into Anthurium world. Now, Anthurium is another genus that I actually really recently got into, and Anthuriums are freaking everywhere. They are the trendy plant of 2024. There are so many varieties, so many hybrids. Like, I literally cannot keep up. I'm not gonna lie, most of them look the same. Like all the crystal red hybrids, they all freaking look the same. Like I'm sorry, they all look the same to me. But there are some Anthuriums that are really special, that look amazing, and I do get the hype. They are very fun to grow. You never know what you're gonna get until it, like, you know, matures and sizes up. So I do understand that. I understand the appeal, but they are so freaking trendy, and there is so many varieties, so many hybrids, and they are so ridiculously expensive, which is again crazy, but it is just the market. One of these plants that I really want to add to my collection is the Anthurium King of Spades. It is beautiful. The almost like perfectly round leaves, the venation, the darkness of it. I've never seen one in person. I would love to see one in person. I don't know how difficult they are. I would assume it's a pretty difficult plant. It looks like a pretty, oh, the emergent leaf. It's red. It looks beautiful. I would love to have a King of Spades, but they are so expensive. For a little small like starter plant, it is around 80 to 100 euros, depending on from where you buy, which I guess it's not bad, but it's still a lot of money for like a small plant. But they are beautiful. They are so freaking beautiful, and I would seriously love to add one to my collection. Now, I would actually like to add a lot more Anthurium to my collection because they are just so beautiful. But first of all, there is the issue of money because they are expensive. Second of all, there is the issue of space because some of these Anthuriums can grow to be absolutely massive, and like it's all fun and dandy when they're like small and they can fit on my cute little Vitcho shelf, but what happens once they outgrow this space, because I don't know where the hell I would put all of these Anthuriums. I have actually bought some wishlist Anthuriums this year, and I am so happy. I finally have a Philodendron, which was such a wish list plant for me for a long time, like probably 2 years now. And I finally got one. It's just a small little baby, but I'm still very excited about it. I also have a Luxmag hybrid that is absolutely stunning, and it's growing to be such a big baby. If you've seen my Clarinervium, I absolutely love my Clarinervium. It's probably at the top of like my favorite houseplants in my whole collection. So I really do like Anthuriums, and I am getting more and more into them. I can see that 2025 for me will be the year of Anthuriums and Hoyas. Like those two species I will probably be getting the most of, and I feel like that's kind of the trend in the community right now as well. I feel like a lot of people are either into Hoyas or into Anthuriums. Like I feel like philodendrons have definitely dipped a lot. I saw a lot of cool Florida beauty hybrids coming out next year or this year or whenever, but I feel like not a lot of people are excited about philodendrons anymore. Monsteras, of course, are always popular, and the variegated Alocasias are also pretty popular. There's a lot of actually cool pink variegated Alocasias, and I would love to have the Alocasia, what's it called? Black Velvet, the pink variegated one. That one is stunning, but those are also freaking expensive. I would also love to have a variegated Regal Shields, but again, highly priced. But hopefully their price will drop eventually. Are there any plants that I haven't mentioned and that you think are really cool? Please leave that in the comment section below. But that's it for this video. I hope you have a fabulous, super fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye!